The Sandy and Toddcast is a Mind Garden media podcast in association with
Screw You, Todd
Productions.
Broadcasting from two very different yet magical places not found on any map. Get ready to discuss the strange, weird, ghostly, crazy, spooky, and odd things that take place around us each and every day. All while having a little bit of fun. This is the Sandy and Toddcast.
All right, let's bring her out, our good friend who's in charge of our Twisted Tuesday this week, Miss Lisa Hale. There she is,
Hi.
right there.
Hey, there she is. Hi.
Todd with his golf clap for me, I swear to God.
Everybody's
They
saying
like
hi.
me. They
love
really,
you.
really like me. Hey, Renee. And before they say it, hello to both of my Jasons. I love you both.
I have to tell the story that I was mentioning off the air. Somebody had reached out to me today and started talking about, that Jason and the story of him and the girl in the house and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I have no idea what you're talking about. Because I was thinking about Jason from the horror movies, and I don't remember him having a girl in the house. And it turns out it was Jason Mansmith's story about when the girl just kind of showed up at the house because she lived there at one point, but she was drunk off her butt and like spent the night in his house kind of thing.
Can you imagine?
I'm telling y'all, Biggie has had some adventures.
Welcome to Biggie's Adventures. This week on the program, Biggie has somebody else walk through his yard.
I've seen
There's got to be like 20 videos of people that walk through his yard
I've seen
late at
clowns
night.
walk through his
He
yard.
catches them. That's right, there was a clown one time.
There were clowns walking through his. Why does it not surprise me, though?
Tonight's episode, the clown walks slowly. That kind of stuff.
Oh, boy.
This is the reason why we're talking so much about Jason Mansmith and Biggie is because he has big ties to this city. This is his hometown. This is where he's from. He is like the big guy in the Chamber of Commerce or something like that,
He's the executive director
right?
of the Ripon Chamber of Commerce. So
his job is to make everything look
And here I am about to tell a twisted tale.
I'm sure he's really happy about that. Actually, this is a story, if you look up online, you will find it almost immediately. So
I
you ready
am,
to get
if
into
you're
your
ready
twisted,
for me to begin.
Twisted Town?
I'm
ready to go, baby. Let's go.
This is Twisted Tales. Today we're going to talk about Ripon, Wisconsin. In Fond du Lac County, Wisconsin, there lies a small city full of rural charm and beauty. It's called Ripon. Founded in 1849 by David P. Mapes, a former New York steamboat captain, Ripon was named for an English city in North Yorkshire. Within 2 years of its founding, Ripon had absorbed a nearby commune settlement called Ceresco. In 1851, Brockway College, which is now known as Ripon College, was formed. In 1854, in a little tiny white schoolhouse in Ripon, about 30 opponents of the Kansas-Nebraska Act got together to form a new political party. It eventually became the Republican Party. The little white schoolhouse in Ripon, Wisconsin is on the National Register of Historic Places as the birthplace of the Republican Party. The Ripon Society, a modern Republican think tank, takes its name from Ripon, Wisconsin. Legend has it that the founding fathers, including David Mapes, would interview people who were looking to make Ripon their home. If they were found, shall we say, wanting, Mapes would then recommend that they try the next town over, Berlin. Berlin and Ripon, to this day, still have a very intense rivalry. The size of the town, according to the U.S. Census Bureau, Ripon has a total of about 5 square miles, 4.97 square miles of land, and 0.05 square miles of water. In the 2010 census, it listed 7,733 people as residents. Ripon is the home base of Alliance Laundry Systems. It used to be known as Speed Queen. It's also the home base of the National Forensic League. Now, Ripon was once famous for being the home of Ripon Good cookies. Oh, I can remember leaving my apartment and smelling those cookies baking. Alas,
I want my windmill cookies
alas,
right now.
the cookie plant has closed and is no more, a victim of consolidation and economic times. So Ripon is no longer home to the cookie factory. But here are a list of some notable Riponites. Frank Anders was a Medal of Honor winner. He got it in the Philippine-American War, and he attended college and died in Ripon. Carrie Chapman Catt was the president of the National American Woman Suffrage Association. I know, right?
Look at that dress.
Yeah, I know. Wow.
She's a hottie.
Richard Maltby Jr. was a theater director, producer, lyricist, screenwriter, and cryptic crossword constructor for Harper's Magazine. And H. Gordon Selfridge was the founder of London's based Selfridge's department store. If you watch BBC, there's actually a show about this guy. He was born in Ripon, and then there are, of course, numerous politicians for Wisconsin and nationally that come from Ripon, Wisconsin. But there's a twisted side to our little town. Starts with Naomi Ware, who studied anthropology and held a master's degree from the University of Indiana. She studied anthropology in the fields of Africa for 2 years. In her adopted home of Ripon, Wisconsin, she was active in the Ripon Stamp Club, the Flyers Club, the World Mail Carriers Association, the Gordon Setter Club of America, and was her church organist for St. Peter's Episcopal Church. One would think that growing up in such an idyllic location would be a dream. But according to Naomi's daughter, Antonia, also known as Tony, was far from it. She claimed life was fraught with emotional and physical abuse at the hands of her mother, Naomi Ware. So much so that she was quoted as saying, quote, "I want her dead. I wish she were dead." When she was 13 or 14, Tony told her friends that she tried to burn down the house with her mother asleep inside. Throughout her teenage years, the fights with her mother continued to worsen. Then Tony met her knight in shining armor, Bradley Kesso. Friends were quoted as saying that Brad grounded Tony and gave her an escape from the constant arguing and fighting with her mother. However, Naomi Ware was still a prominent part of her daughter's life. Reports claim that financial disputes were a major cause of contention. Ms. Ware had co-signed several loans for the couple to repairs on the car and to make down payments on their mobile home, and Ware felt that she could be financially ruined because Kesso was considering a declaration of bankruptcy. This long-standing problem between mother and daughter and son son-in-law finally hit a breaking point sometime on the night of December 11th, 1991. The 19-year-old Antonia and her 23-year-old husband Bradley drove from their home in Fond du Lac 15 miles away to Ripon, and in a fit of rage strangled the 48-year-old Ware with a dog leash. Then they hit her in the head several times with a small axe, hit her in the head with a shovel, and stabbed her in the eye with a knife. Ware's body was found the next morning when she failed to show up for work at her part-time job at the Ripon Post Office. When the Kessos were arrested and were charged with first-degree intentional homicide, they each blamed the other for starting the attack on Ware. Bradley was sentenced to life in prison with no chance of parole for 50 years in his part of the first-degree murder charge. He is being held in the Stanley Correctional Institution in Beaver Dam. He will be eligible for parole in 2043. Tony Kesso was sentenced to life in prison with no chance of parole for 50 years as well. She died as an inmate in the Tachita Women's Prison in May of 2004. No foul play was suspected, but she was only 31.
Interesting.
Very interesting.
It was a very dark time. I know on this program, I've talked about the fact that I was a news stringer at the radio station that you worked for a while. At that time, it was AM 1600 WCWC, and I was doing overnights, and then I would go out during the day and I'd cover some news stories for the news guy. And he called me early in the morning. He's like, "Hey, can you go out to this axe murder?" And I'm like, "What?" axe murder. Because back in those days, there was no cell phones and stuff like that. We were lucky if we had a dot matrix printer that printed out the daily news and weather reports and farm, the pigs on the thing and stuff. So he says like there's this axe murder, and he gave me the address, which was not that far, if I remember properly, from the radio station. I mean,
nothing's
in Ripon,
that far.
nothing's that
5
far.
square miles. It's a small town.
Right. And I remember having to drive over there and talk to the police people that were there at the time and find out what the hell was going on. And I'm just like, this is too weird. Because it happened, of course, while I was working, I believe, that night. So, interesting.
And this was 1991. And imagine the rage in not just strangling someone, but then axe murdering them and sticking them in the eye with a knife. That's horrific. And they were young.
They were very young. She was
old.
19, I think I said. Yeah.
Jeez.
So that's one of those situations where, again, Ripon's a very nice
Please
town.
don't get me wrong,
And,
Riponites.
cookie days and the old Ripon days and all this, and Watson Street and all that kind of stuff. What?
Cookie days is no more. Okay, I was going to say.
I understand that.
They just announced it yesterday that Cookie Days is no longer.
What was Cookie Day?
Well, you'd go
That's
out and
right.
celebrate cookies, of course.
Oh, it was actual, it was Cookie Day?
Yes.
Like, it was a cookie
Yes.
festival
You'd
type
go
thing?
out to Barlow Park, and they had this huge, what are those things called with the buckets on them that go away? No, not
Cookie.
the cookie, but like a huge bulldozer or something with the bucket all filled with cookies. And then they would dump them, and then the kids would go grab all the cookies.
Oh my God. That sounds
It
like so
was,
much fun.
but, I mean,
like it just...
There's
that
no
sounds so
longer a
cute.
cookie factory there, and they no longer
makes
have
me sad.
the built-in resource of the cookie factory. So
It makes me very...
trust
I've never
me,
had
though,
Ripon cookies.
there are other fun things to do in Ripon, and Jason will tell you that if we ever get him on here just to talk about Ripon. But
He can join tonight if he wants to. That would
fire
be fun.
truck, Lisa,
Jason, you wanna
it was
come
a
on?
fire truck, not a bulldozer. Okay, they took it up in the cherry picker of the fire truck.
Oh, okay.
All right, let me show you this. As long as we're gonna talk cookies, for crying out loud.
Let's talk about cookies.
These are some of the best ones. All right, we're talking about let's see if this will come up now. Come on, where are you? Oh no. Well, the striped dainties. Maybe you can
those
kind
were
of see
good.
that.
I liked
here.
the Ripon Good.
Those...
These were
I
good.
would have liked the first
These are really good.
Yes.
The chocolate chip cookies.
Yes.
The cream fillings. Oh my God. The
Those were my
macaroons.
favorite right there.
And then you have the carousel
yes.
cookies. The coconut
And the cool
bars.
thing was is when the factory was there, you could go and just buy bunches of cookies there at the factory. Fudge fluffs.
outlet
Oh,
store.
you ain't never lied, Jason. You ain't never lied. It was the best, man. And I can remember, waking up at 3:00 in the morning to get ready to go to work because I did mornings with Jason. And I'd walk outside now I lived so close to the radio station that I walked to work and it took me less than 3 minutes. That's how close I lived.
Right.
So I would walk out of my apartment and just sit there and you could smell the sugar and the vanilla in the air. It was heaven.
I'm dying
That sounds
here.
so good. Now, I happen to live on a residential street.
The iced
There's
spice.
woods separating the...
That's grandma cookies. That reminds me of my grandma.
Those are very grandma cookies. I actually am now familiar, now that I've seen pictures of the packages, I am familiar with them. I don't think I may have had the wafers, though. I may have had the wafers. But they all look good. They all look good. When I come out sometimes, the mall is on the other side of the woods, and then there's like an area with fast food restaurants not too far from where I live. And sometimes in the morning, I'll come outside and you can smell like Burger King. Nowhere near as good as cookies.
No.
I wish I could be smelling cookies when I come out in the
it was
morning half
wonderful.
asleep. Oh, come on, cookies.
But
That sounds so good.
It just breaks my heart thinking about it, to be honest with you. Because when like you said, when you were young, or you could just go to the store and buy them. You could just go to the outlet there and just get a bunch of stuff. And those windmill cookies. That's another grandma thing. She would eat those with her coffee. Well, they were.
What are the windmill cookies?
You've never seen windmill?
They look like windmills. They have didn't they have like little pieces of almond on them too? Yeah.
Yeah, there was almond in them, right up in the corner there.
Windmills.
Oh
my
nope,
gosh, you're like the best.
Before, I don't think.
You are.
I'm like Cookie depraved.
Vicky, Burger King was your very first job. Love it.
Hold the pickle,
Special
hold the
orders don't
lettuce,
upset us. All we ask is that you let us
Upset
serve
us.
it your way. Have it your. Did we stop?
Yeah, we did stop. We did stop. And then she worked. Actually, she worked in Ripon at A&W too.
Oh my gosh.
She did.
I used to love the A&W.
There's one in Ripon still.
That's
We still have
sad.
them.
And we have
We
one.
still have them here.
Really?
Where is it on 9th?
We have one. We have one in Ithaca, which is a couple hours southwest of us here in New York. But I think that's the only one that I know of.
I love that name, Ithaca. It's like if you were going to talk like
Ithaca.
this, and you would just say
Ithaca.
Ithaca.
It's at the very bottom of one of our Finger Lakes. So if you do the wine trails, we have wine trails
Is it
all
at the bottom
through
of the
Great
Finger
Lakes.
Lakes? And if you do a
It's
wine
like
trail,
yeah,
can have
it's at the
some
bottom
wine.
of one, so you can kind of loop around. and
Ithaca
stop
is
in
the bottom of the
Ithaca, and
Finger Lake.
It's a beautiful place.
That's where it is.
That's exactly what it is.
Ithaca is
Ithaca.
at the bottom of the Finger
It's
Lake.
the best.
Ithaca
It is.
and
It's the
Ibiza.
best. Oh my god. I always wonder where some of the names come from. We have a lot of
you
Native
think we
American
don't in
origins here,
Wisconsin?
so we have tons of stuff.
Winnebago.
Oh, I know you guys
Out of
do.
Gamey.
My gosh. Yeah, I love that. I love it. What's the one that I love?
Kakana?
Todd?
Manitowoc.
Manitowoc.
Windmill and
Manitowoc.
ice
I love
spice for
that
the
one.
hot dog of the cookie world. Yeah.
Ah.
Exactly.
Jason.
Get help. Oh, it's so amazing how these idyllic little towns, you drive through them, and even what is the
Plainfield.
Edgeen town? Plainfield. I've looked at pictures online. You drive through, it's just a normal little town. Nobody who is not familiar with anything that's happened there would just think, oh, it's just another, middle America type of town. And all of this crazy stuff goes on there.
Wisconsin.
Kind of disturbing.
And don't get me wrong, I love this state. Love this state. But there's some interesting stuff here.
There's some pictures of Ripon around the holidays and
the
stuff like that.
Dickens of the Christmas that they have at Ripon. It is wonderful. The entire downtown area has like these windows where they do scenes and Victorian kind of Christmas scenes. And, I love it so much.
Yeah.
Do people still talk about it today, I wonder? Do they? Or is it sort of something they don't like to talk about?
I think Jason would. I don't think people talk about it, but I think Jason would probably know better than we would.
He lives there.
Yeah.
Works there.
Interesting.
Jason's ruining all my fun with the windmill cookies and the spice cookies. It's fine, Jason. It's fine if they were like the bottom feeders. That's okay. They tasted
great.
Awesome.
Man. But they are the grandma cookies when you think about it. That's what grandma sets out with her tea.
I'm going to dip it in my taster's choice right here.
I have some tea and cookies.
So Jason, do people still talk about the murder as long as you're on? Do people still talk about the murder, or is it kind of something nobody talks about anymore?
No, he was talking about the
He loved
cookies.
I've met a cookie I
Me
didn't
neither.
like.
Can't you tell? I mean, if you look at me, you can tell I've never met a cookie I didn't like.
I'm a chocolate chip fan. I like the
Nope.
old fashioned chocolate chips.
No.
That's me.
No, not
Soft
me.
chocolate chip.
If you're going to do me a cookie, I'll do an oatmeal raisin any day.
I was
That's
going
why
to say
I like
he
the
likes the spices
ones.
in the cookies.
So not a lot of people
Gotcha.
talking about the old axe murder there.
Yeah. I wonder if there's any ghost stories attached to it. You know,
not that I could
legends
find
over the
attached to
years.
that particular thing. There are some. Oh, molasses cookies, Vicky. Oh,
Don't even start with me.
there are.
Don't even start with me. Quick Trip molasses cookies. Don't let me get in line at Quick Trip because I will walk out with a package of those mother fluppers.
Flupper.
I know that there are some ghost stories in Ripon. There's Witch Road. There's a couple ghost stories connected to the college itself, but
Is it always is it actually called Witch Road? Is that the real name of it, or
well,
is it a
that's
nickname?
the nickname of it, isn't it? Jason could answer.
I thought it was the
Jason
actual
could
name.
answer more than I did. I
Jason,
know
we
we
should
should
have
have.
had him on the
We should
goddamn
have
podcast.
him just get
I
on
didn't-
here. Tell him to get over.
Get
tell him
your
to
butt
just
in
get
here,
in
Jason. No.
Come on.
I never went down Witch Road, I don't believe. As long as I lived there and as much as I loved it, I never went and did anything, Callan Road.
Callan Road.
Yeah.
Callan Road. Is there like a legend? Do people see like the girl in the white dress, or is that what that is?
Waiting for Jason to tell us the truth.
I know. I know.
There's
I'm waiting
pictures
for
of
Jason.
Witch Road there.
That is a little spooky looking, I have to say. Spooky.
Trying to make it so
I
you can
love
see it
those
then.
things.
Whatever.
Oh, good job.
Go have a drink. Would you?
I'm fine.
I'm
fine.
fine.
I'm fine. Listen, don't make fun of my accent that I apparently have that I didn't think I had.
Oh, you've got an accent already, honey.
You know, honestly, like I said, people tell me I have a Central New York accent, whatever that is. Although, who was it? Drew thought I was from the Midwest.
You do sound like you're from the Midwest. Don't you think she sounds like
that
she's from the
got
Midwest
a
sometimes?
little bit of a Midwest accent, but then again, everybody in radio tries to have that Midwest accent because it's a generalized accent.
Yeah,
Plenty of stories about Witches Road. Well, Jason, you're going to have to come on and do a thing about Witches
know.
Road for us.
That would be great.
I mean, I can send the guy a link real quick if he wants to come on
Send
even
him
with
a
his
link.
phone.
Jason, you want
He's
to come
like,
on?
I don't know if I want to go on with them people.
I don't have my hair done. I just got out of the
My
shower.
hair's
It's in
not done.
rollers.
Jason, he's probably got a cap on.
My hair did.
Is he? Yay!
Oh, he's coming on. He said sure.
I love my
Woohoo.
Biggie.
Let's bring him on.
I just sent you a link on
Biggie
Messenger.
is the best.
Biggie.
He really is.
You know how there's Todd and I say this all the time. You know how there's certain people that you come across and like you immediately like them. It's just the good vibes. That's Jason because they keep.
Poor Jason's getting texted by Erica.
Well, Stellmacher, that's a name that's prevalent in Ripon, so she must be telling him, tell them the stuff.
I know.
Well, she can join us too, Erica. If you want the link,
know.
I'll get you on here. You can
it's
tell
a party.
any stories you
it's
want.
a party.
Just make sure nothing's
Yeah,
libel or anything like
Make
that.
sure you're wearing clothes.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, just out of the middle of nowhere, the man of the hour,
Not scheduled for the evening.
Biggie. There he is.
Hey!
So,
Why didn't we-
technology.
From the why didn't we think of this sooner category, here he is.
well, I'm glad to be with you. I actually had people text messaging me like, "Are they talking about the Naomi Ware murder?" And I'm like, "Yes, they're talking about."
Erica can tell more stories about Jason than about Ripon. Come on, Erica. Come on.
Yeah,
That's great.
you're cooking the ice spice in the windmill, but yeah, those are some of my faves too. And my mom don't even want to know what's in those things.
Probably not. Are there a lot of? I mean, you're a ghost guy. There a lot of ghost stories around Ripon.
Not too much. I think Lisa kind of alluded to it a little bit at Ripon College, Lane Library, those kind of places there have some stories about it. But, we have, some connections and some stories about the Underground Railroad also in Ripon as well.
Oh, wow.
Some connections between businesses that are currently downtown and to South Woods, which is just to the south of the town, where there was rumored to be, people that would be hiding slaves and making sure they would get to freedom through there too. So some of those stories.
Wow. Cool.
Well,
I'm kind of surprised with the history there And even things like the little white schoolhouse and stuff like that, that there wouldn't be some residual energy there doing some sort of haunting. I'm surprised that there's not more stories, or maybe nobody's gone in to investigate.
Yeah, that's probably the case. We've had a few groups that have come in and investigated at Ripon College and those spots there. But, most of the private houses there, I think people are just, pretty sitting, don't want any of that energy kind of brought up with it. So they don't maybe talk about it. And, we talked about my house. I did a little thing here and didn't find anything. But, there's a lot of old houses built in this town in the late 1850s, 1860s. So I'm sure there's some residual stuff hanging around.
Sure.
Erica says she's not camera ready. Otherwise, she'd be more than happy to come on and talk about you.
Probably is my longest friend I've had. So
wow.
Yeah, she said the crib. I didn't know if she was trying to be ghetto or just.
Had her best friends, and we just became, okay, you guys are best friends too. So welcome to small town.
That's how it works, isn't it?
Yeah.
So Jason, tell us about Witch Road. What are the legends there? What's up with that?
So yeah, Callan Road was always a great place to go when you were in high school and you had a car full of kids and you want to freak everybody out. So there's really probably nothing to it, but you see from the pictures, it kind of was overgrown and it kind of makes this little tunnel. So automatically you're on edge a little bit.
Right.
Get into it, and there's this farmhouse or an old barn kind of off in the distance, and people would occasionally see a light flickering on and off, or there would be maybe some kind of ghostly image that would appear out of there. Now I've been through there a million times and never saw it once, but and I'm like, well, the light's on because it's a dusk to dawn light, of course it's going to go on. It's it's dark. So yeah, but I haven't really experienced anything. I've known people that have had like car troubles when they are out there. Like they would drive through there and they would have, like maybe an engine shut down or they would shut off. I've heard those stories, but you know how those urban legends kind of get started. You don't necessarily know it's the truth or not. But like if you would have like a monumental moment on your odometer, which sounds really weird. That's a cool band name, by the way. Like if you were going to, like if your car was going to turn 100,000 miles or 666,000 or something like that, you would take it out to Witch's Road and see if anything would happen. And
well, maybe we should focus on Witch's Road when you come and just spend like a couple of nights on Witch's Road and see what happens.
Oh, I love the name.
Yeah, there's plenty of information out there about it. There's plenty of stories on it. Haunted Wisconsin has got some information on it, and you just type Callan Road Ripon, and it's all over the place.
I just love how legends are born. There's a place not too far from where I live it's a restaurant. It looks like a castle. It is haunted. I know people who have investigated there and have a ton of activity. But over the years, several people have had car accidents in front of the restaurant. And of course, legends have built up that the ghosts are trying to kill people. But the problem with that is the fact that it's a very sharp turn in front of the restaurant. And more likely, the cars are just they're overshooting the turn instead of, it's more likely a regular explanation than it would be ghosts. But legends are born and they kind of keep going and building and building and building. And now we have angry ghosts trying to kill people in front of
I think my friend Sarah once had her car break down on Witch's Road once.
Did her car break down everywhere?
Well, I was just going to mention that. But we can't really put faith in that because poor Say's car broke down everywhere.
Someday she didn't even get out of the driveway.
She gonna kill us.
Oh, the phone's ringing.
There's a phone call. I got to take this and find out what this is all about. So hold on a second.
Okay.
Hello, Sandy and Toddcast. Yep. Oh, that's a great idea. That's a great idea. All right, I'll have him do it. Thank you. Bye. All right, so one of our favorite TV shows, Jason and I, is a show called Around the Corner with John McGivern, which is not on anymore. But at any rate, what they do is they go into all these small towns and they tell the story of the town, and they tell the history and they tell the information about the city, and then they get to tell all the great things about these towns across Wisconsin. It's called Around the Corner. At the very end of the broadcast, the mayor or somebody from the city council or somebody from the Chamber of Commerce gets 30 seconds to say why their city is so great. And the phone call was John McGivern, and he said that we should have Jason get 30 seconds to give all the highlights of Ripon, since we were talking about bad stuff. Give him the chance to give us the good stuff. So what do you say? Do you think you can do it?
Yeah, I can do it. My job.
All right, I'm going to put 30 seconds on the clock. You start now, whenever you're set. Go.
We'll do this. 3, 2, 1. Hey, come to Ripon. We're fantastic. No, not only that, but because we have a great, vibrant downtown, great shopping, great dining, just great people, open, accepting, progressive community that is more than willing to care about you when you come to our community. But there's a lot of history and a lot of rich history and a lot of changes that have been made in one little town and a lot of social history that's been changed because of what we had here in this community. So I can't say enough about the people here, and come on in because it's going to be a fun time.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Jason Smith. Pushing Ripon, Wisconsin, like no other person can.
Pushing Ripon.
I do want to ask, and he might
That's right.
kick me for this next time he sees. What is your favorite event in Ripon? Do you have a favorite event? Because I know you are busier than a one-arm paper hanger with an itch, and you've never heard that saying? Oh my God!
No, I haven't.
Wow, I'm glad I'm not the only one.
It means he's very busy.
I would. Yeah, I've got a lot of stuff that goes on in the community that, it's tough to, kind of really pick one. But, Septemberfest for me is a really fun event because, we put a bunch of really cool old cars in downtown Ripon. And when you go to shows like throughout Wisconsin, and there's a ton of them, they're always in some big, field at a park, and you don't get any go along with it. You're just sitting there all day. Ours is in downtown, so you can go inside to all the restaurants, you can go shop and all those things. So that's really good. Plus, we have great entertainment that weekend, and it's just a lot of fun. It runs from like 9 a.m. in the morning to 4 p.m. in the afternoon. Everybody comes in, they have a good time, and then they go home.
Which is even better. Go home!
It's over! Go home!
Get out of here!
After about 6 hours, we go like, okay, you guys are ready to go home. Let's get out of here.
Hey, thanks for joining us tonight. This was very off the cuff, and we really appreciate you coming on.
Hey, no problem. As always, looking forward to the rest of the show.
All right, see ya.
Thank you. Love ya.
The sad news is there's not much left of the show. He was the show.
I know. He was. He's great. I love Jason.
Send him a gift card to I don't know, something.
A&W.
Let's do something.
Joanne's Crafts or something.
Joanne's Crafts. Joanne's.
I know he's a big crafter. I know that Jason loves crafts.
Let's send him something completely off the wall and then tell him to find where he can use it. Just find something to use it for.
Well,
he's great.
That was
I
great.
love him.
Lisa, good twist of town this week.
Yeah. Very, very good. I love that.
How many more miles left in this race? How long it takes, I don't know. In the end, it ain't about the pace. It always ends the